In section 4, we'll explore how to actually create a core curriculum. And we start with a couple of different frames to think through. Why are we creating a core curriculum course? What should it do? How do we know it's working? And then we'll go into the nuts and bolts of like, how do you actually do the thing? What tools do you use? How do you structure it? How do you turn it into the tool that then new staff can use? So there are a couple of considerations to consider when you're starting a core curriculum, when you're just starting to sketch out the core curriculum. And there are 8 that I offer here. You don't need to go into a lot of detail. Sometimes it's just reading these, reflecting on them, think about like, all right, how does that show up in our core curriculum? And so I'll offer them here. The first is assessing the training needs. Identifying the skills and knowledge that are necessary for new staff to be successful in their role. And from this, you can review job descriptions, talk to managers, supervisors, talk to other staff members, conduct surveys, focus groups. Really thinking about, going to people who just started in the organization, maybe a year ago or 6 months ago, to be like, what didn't you get when you joined? That would be really helpful in order to help provide a firm foundation for you to be successful. The second consideration is developing those learning objectives. These objectives that are aligned with the company's goals and that provide a clear understanding of what new hires will be able to accomplish after completing the training. Some of what you'll cover in a core curriculum is historical background, contextual information. Some of it's like actually how to do this thing, and maybe if you have a communication, like how do we actually communicate? And you talk about how we use Slack to do something. Maybe you want people to demonstrate that they can go on Slack and send a message. So you know that they've connected their account, they've logged on, and so you've sort of checked that thing off the box. The third is creating or gathering training materials for each of the topics. These can be videos, articles, documents, presentations, things that you already have in the can. Where are these? How did we explain them? And maybe we provide a wrapper so people can understand them. And this is where determining the delivery method comes in, number 4. This can be quote unquote instructor-led. It can be online. It can be a combination of both. And this is really what with our philosophy in creating core curriculum, where it's really about reinforcing what it is that people need to have in order to be successful in their role, hearing it from different people in different ways. And so when you think about a delivery method, it doesn't have to just be one thing. It can be you're watching videos or you're reading articles to start with, and then you're going to talk to a person in sort of real time in person, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, after all this information is kind of marinated in someone's mind. And then they have an opportunity to hear it again from a different perspective and ask questions. So number 5, the considerations, planning the training schedule. Developing a training schedule that outlines when each module will be delivered and how long it'll take. Also being realistic about the time frame that allows new hires to complete the training without being overwhelmed. Don't give someone 35 videos to watch in their first day and think they're going to comprehend all of that. So after you sort of have that sketch of all of the different courses, we can start to see, as we'll explore in just a bit, when certain ones should land, when you might need it in the first day or two, what you might need in the first week or two, what you might need in the first month, first 90 days. And so really planning out how this lands so that it's kind of dripping at the point that people need the information and not overwhelming. The 6th consideration is testing the training. Test it with a small group of new hires or subject matter experts. Then gather that feedback on the training's effectiveness and make any necessary adjustments. And this is a really great way to, after someone has just gone through it, again, maybe 3 months ago, have them reflect back and then iterate on the versions that you have. 7, implement the training. Provide access to the materials and schedule the training, and then monitor the progress of new hires and provide support and guidance as needed. And this maybe sounds really official, but it's just setting it up to be like, all right, so how's a new member of our team going to come into this? How does it show up in their day? Do they have what they need in order to start this work? And do they have the support that they need as they're going through, as they have questions, or if links aren't working or whatever it is that they feel comfortable in coordinating with someone? And lastly on here is evaluating the training. Evaluating the effectiveness of the training by measuring the new hire's understanding, performance, and engagement after completing the training. This is also one of those places where how does this connect to annual self-assessments or performance evaluations? How do we know, how does someone know in real time if they're doing it correctly or not? And what might we have missed? Maybe what changed between when we created this and what people got, or maybe what's, just like word of mouth, or you sort of system hacks that people just start using that actually aren't sort of codified in the learning. And so really taking a moment to evaluate, all right, how well is this actually working for us?